God. Here's another chapter called Zoo Extended. I'll try not to laugh. I can't stop laughing. Oh my God. After I was looking around, they were famished, and it was easy finding a fish and chip shop. The fish was delicious, and it was wonderful eating it outside. This has been a great trip, Dad, Josh said in between mouthfuls of succulent fresh fish. Tom was pleased. He'd enjoyed the day and promised there'd be more to come. I think it's time we headed back, Tom said a little sadly. Rain clouds were gathering. It looked like a storm was brewing. They were lucky to make it to the car as the first drops hit, but it wasn't rain, it was hailstone. They fell larger and larger, and they clattered off the roof of the car, clashing like cymbals. Tom put his foot down as rain and hail swirled around them. It was as if an angry cloud was following them and hitting them with everything it had. Although frightening, it was also weirdly exciting. The car's headlights shone through the curtain of hail. Tom turned up the radio to drown out the din, and the hail added its own accompaniment, blending with the music. They arrived home with the screech of brakes. Chickens and hens scurried out of their way, and Josh ran inside, with the hail chasing him. When they got inside, they had a surprise, but not a pleasant one. The chairs were upside down, and books were strewn everywhere. There was a hole on the wall where a picture used to hang. We've been burgled, said Tom in shock. Fortunately and strangely, nothing seemed to have been stolen. The garage, said Josh, and they ran outside in the rain once again. Thankfully, the lock on the door was a strong one. They must have come in through the window, said Tom, and he closed it with a snap. Josh put the kettle on, he said. They were both in shock. These things happen, said Tom, and they slowly tidied the house. That night, Josh couldn't sleep, and he kept thinking they would come back. He didn't feel safe until the first light of morning. When he went downstairs, Tom was busy putting lights on the windows. Better safe than sorry, he said. Josh was starting to realize life wasn't as rosy as he wanted it to be. Cracks in his dream world had started to appear. After a hearty breakfast, Josh was racking his brains, wondering where he'd go. He needed to take his mind off things, and he remembered Tom mentioning the old tip, and he decided to investigate. It was another hot day, and he brought a can of Coca-Cola and a long, hard piece of licorice to chew on, and he set off. This was a top-secret mission. He wanted to surprise Tom with the goodies he could pick up. There was a hole in the fence, and he squeezed through it luckily. Luckily, the place was deserted apart from buzzing flies. He hoped there'd be no rats, as he'd seen enough of them for one summer. The tip was strewn with all manner of things, from umbrellas and a sea of carrier bags and handbags and old broken TVs. He found a large rucksack, and he decided to fill it up with anything useful that he could find. Then an old Roberts radio caught his eye, and although it had a crack in it, he was confident it would work, and he knew his dad would love it. There was a carrier bag with lots of spoons and forks in it, and he decided that these may come in handy after a little clean. He was getting dusty with all of the rummaging around, and he didn't mind. There was lots of different coloured clothes strewn around, which he didn't feel keen on picking up. He opened a big brown box, and to his delight it was full of old LPs, which he was sure Tom would love. He held one up to the light and examined the grooves, but they looked perfect without a scratch to be seen. He carefully placed them in his bag along with a pack of cards he'd found and a rusty old alarm clock.